Hi kids and everyone joining us. We're back with Bimbo and Topsy and now we're going to be reading chapter 14 called When the Chimneys Smoked. So what's a chimney? So you have a fireplace in a house, don't you? And then you have this big vertical pipe-like structure that goes straight out of the roof. That is a chimney. You might also know of a chimney because of all these stories about Santa Claus climbing down the chimney and coming and placing your gifts for Christmas under the Christmas tree. So what's happening with chimneys smoking with Bimbo and Topsy? Let's find out. Once the nursery chimney wanted sweeping and smoke began to pour out from the fire. "What's happening?" cried Bobs. "The fire keeps puffing smoke at me. I must go and tell the others." So off he ran as fast as he could and met Topsy and Bimbo. "The nursery fire is smoking," he cried. "What's it smoking?" asked Topsy in astonishment. "A cigarette or a pipe?" "Don't be silly," said Bobs. "It's just smoking. Come and see." So they all went to see, and the puppy and the kitten were most astonished to see such enormous billows of smoke puffing out of the fireplace. When Mistress saw all the smoke, she was quite upset. "Look at the tiresome fire," she said. "The chimney is smoking. I must get the sweep." The sweep is a person who helps you clean this chimney. You will have to keep cleaning it because all of the smoke from the fire gets clogged up in the chimney. And that's how there's always this little smoke that comes into your room if you don't clean your chimneys. Let's see what this sweep is going to do now. So she went for the sweep and he came with his bundle of poles and his big round brush. The animals watched him in surprise. "Does he live in a chimney?" woofed Topsy. "What's he going to do?" asked Bimbo. Jillian and Imogen came to watch the sweep. He put his brush onto the top of one of his poles and pushed it out the chimney. Then he fitted on another pole and pushed the brush a bit higher. Then he fitted a third pole. You're going to have to need a long pole because a chimney is really tall. So how are you going to get everything out? "The pole send the brush higher and higher," said Jillian, "and it sweeps the chimney as it goes up. See, the sweep twists his poles to send the brush round and round, and that sweeps the chimney clean, Imogen. If you go out in the garden, you will see my brush come suddenly out of the chimney," said the sweep to the children. So they ran downstairs and into the garden. They looked up at the chimneys, but no brush came. The animals all watched too. It was most disappointing. They didn't quite know which chimney was being swept. When they looked at them, all on the roof, but then they watched every one of them to see if a brush came popping out. "Sweep, your brush isn't coming out," said Imogen. The sweep popped his head out. "It's got stuck," he said. "Maybe a brick has fallen out of the chimney. I'll have to go push it a bit." Bimbo was most interested in everything. "I think I'll go up on the roof and have a closer view of what is happening," he said. "This is rather exciting. Coming, Topsy?" "Don't be silly," said Topsy. "You know I can't climb. My jumping isn't much good, and my claws won't hold on to things as yours will. You go by yourself, but be careful." Bimbo, always up to some kind of adventure. "Bimbo, you poke your nose into things too much," said Bobs. "You'd better not go up on the roof when a chimney is being swept. Why, even the chimney itself might fall off on top of you." "I don't think so," said Bimbo, and he went up the roof at once. He first jumped onto the low garage roof, then onto the scullery roof, then ran up beside the kitchen chimney, then onto the big roof where all the other chimneys were. "I'll look down them all and tell you which one the brush is in," he called. "That will be fun. Then you will know which one to watch." So the kitten jumped up the first on top of one big chimney and then on top of another. He looked down at them, but he couldn't see anything. There was another big chimney just nearby, so he jumped on that one. He looked down, and at that very moment, the sweep's brush shot up to the top of it and knocked poor Bimbo high into the air. "Oh, look! The brush has come right out of the chimney," shouted Jillian, "and it has pushed Bimbo off. And oh dear, he's gone into another chimney. He's fallen into it." "Uh-oh, I told you Bimbo's going to be up for some adventure and he's going to get into trouble." Sure enough, poor Bimbo had disappeared into the chimney next to the nursery one. Plonk! He fell right into it, and that was the last the children and the animals saw of him on the roof. They stood and waited for him to climb out, but he didn't. "Oh well, I suppose he will come out when he is ready," said Bobs. "I expect he thinks we would laugh at him if he climbed out now, and so we would. He'll come out when he thinks we're all safely indoors again." The sweep's brush disappeared down the chimney. A cloud of black soot hung over the roof for a minute or two and then disappeared. "The fun's over," said Bobs. "We'll go indoors." So in they all went. Cozy curled up by the sitting room fire and fell asleep. Bobs went to visit the cook in the kitchen to see if she was in a good temper. Topsy sat down and began to lick herself, for she felt a bit smoky from the nursery fire. And dear me, where was poor old Bimbo? Wow, aren't these pets worried about where their friend is? I would be if my friend was missing for a long time. Well, we're going to have to wait for the next chapter to see where Bimbo went after all. I'll see you then.